Welcome to Kika. I'm your host, the one with the most, Michelangelo. Well, today I'm going to give you a lesson, well, theoretically a acoustic lesson on the terminology of black metal. Now, there are several forms or genres of metal. You have the AC/DC, which is considered, hard rock. Not necessarily metal, but, hard rock. You have the Motley Crue version, which is considered, well, some like to call it glam rock. Others like to call it heavy metal. To me, Motley Crue will always be heavy metal because their album, the one with Too Young to Fall in Love, was the one that caught my attention. And it got me to start to play the guitar. And then you also have the Metallica metal, which is technically real metal. Metallica, yeah. They're the one with the hard driven rhythm, with that fast pace. Yeah, they're the actual heavy metal. And then you also have subgenres like black metal, with its dark themes and elements. And then you also have the theatrical metal, which is like King Diamond, where his songs are like horror stories. So each song is an intricate layer of a horror story. And then you also have new metal and doom metal, where it's very, really slow and passive, but so depressing and so I don't know where I get these descriptions from, but it's just from what I know from an experience, and that's what we're going to do today. We are going to do, actually I'll do 2 lessons in black metal, one with my Martin, and then later on when I go home I'll do another lesson with Socrates. So you can kind of hear both versions. I'll try to keep the lessons similar, so you can hear the similarity in its context. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, now basically the first thing in black metal is they tend to play around. If they're starting with the 6, now if we're in the key of D minor, they'll go from the D to the D sharp, and then the D to the C sharp. So then that's one thing, and what they'll do is they'll play around with the chord, and then they'll go up and then go down. So like that. Now another thing they like to do is, especially in black metal, they like to use minor 6 chords. Now minor 6, you might be asking, what is that? Well, this is a minor 6. It has a weird sound to it. But what this does, it gives you a ambience of pure nightmares. And they normally do this. Now, another thing they like to do is they like to double up on their chords. For example, they'll use a perfect fourth along with a minor third. And this is almost like a minor 6, except it's not as colorful, and it does have its dark ambience. You can just hear the black metal singer. uh, well, to continue, what they also like to do, and I did my research because I used to listen to Possessed Seven Church. I mean, I still do. I still have the CD. I have the Possessed, Morbid, Dark Angel, Testament, Slayer, and yeah, I have all of these different bands that I at one point in my life that I really loved. I say one point because after a while, I mean, I still listen to black metal. Like, I still listen to Mayhem. I still listen to Burzum. I still listen to Watan. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. There's just so many new bands out nowadays. But yeah. And I mean, now I mostly listen to King Diamond, maybe Metallica, maybe some Yngwie, and so I know those bands are not considered black metal, but there's still a part of me that's that's dark intended, and I do want to stress this out. For those of you who are into black metal, you do not need to do what the people down in Norway did. Never take a life, never burn churches. People have their right to do what they want to do. But there is a thing about doing what's right and then breaking the law. You don't want to break the law. Very important. Alright, now back to the metal lesson. Now, what we do here is we're holding an E chord, except I'm in the middle of my fret, maybe 6 to the 7, and then hitting these three. See? And that colorful overtone can give me that black metal appeal. Now, as you saw from doing this demonstration, I went back into the norm, which is the 3 to the 2, and then 3 to the 4. Wow, that sounded like Possessed. And then from there, I did a Bathory. Now I want to play black metal. Okay, anyway, continuing on. Now, what they also like to do is they like to play some scale movements. For example, what Possess did is this. Yeah. Yeah, I still know my Possess. uh, that was a band that I was really into. Also, Pile Driver, although I couldn't understand their method of playing or their method of madness, because they always did like, and I always thought that was really funky, but it was so cool. And then they'll go, they'll go into their plane, and then and I was like, whoa, this is awesome, but it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. Okay, back to the black metal. Now, what else they like to do is they like to play the open E. I forgot what band did this, but what they did was they would play the open E, and then just go one fret up, then back one down, and then one down. Battery, that's right, battery. Yeah. And so they would go like, I can just hear the singer from Battery. Oh, oh. But I love Battery. They were my favorite black metal band back in the day. In fact, I wrote a song. I don't remember the song anymore, but I wrote a song that combined two of my favorite bands at the time. This was back in 80, 84, 85. Because I started playing in 84, so maybe 85. And because my favorite bands were Anthrax and Bathory, and so what I did was I wish I remembered the song, but I wrote a song called Bathorax. And I did that because I just wanted to honor the two bands that I really admire. Okay, anyway, now remember, black metal is a form of expression. So sometimes when we're walking and we see something that that might disturb us, it's okay, just let it go. Remember, everyone has a right to do what they want to do. But because they have this right, you also have to remember the consequences. Now, I know some of you might not be thinking about consequences, but it's important. Everybody deserves to live in a happy and a fulfilling environment. That's their God-given right. And because of this right, we shouldn't take it among ourselves to disrupt that. No. And another thing, suicide. Suicide is not the answer. It is not even remotely the answer. We lost a lot of great musicians because of suicide, because they either overdose, shot themselves with a thingamadang. Um, you know, it's not the answer. Get help. Call a friend. Call the National Suicide Hotline and get help. So when you wake up in the morning, you'll see what so many of our fellow artists and musicians and actors never saw: a new dawn. And that's really important. It's important for us to see that new dawn, so when we see that new dawn, we have another purpose to keep on fighting, to keep on living. Alright, anyway, let's get back to see, black metal brings out these powerful emotions in me because well, I'm sure you heard about the people in Norway, the suicide of the dead. I mean, that's not his real name, but I rather call him for what he means to me. And dead means a lot to me. He was an awesome vocalist, and he had that raspy voice, and it just makes me want to bang my head, even though I don't have the hair for it anymore. And there's Euronymous. Euronymous was killed because well, I don't want to get into the specifics because I don't know the specifics. I'm here, and he's there, but you know, power trips is a sad thing, because when someone gets on a high horse and think they're it, and then they come in contact with people who don't like their high horse, you know, they're liable to get cut down. In which case, Euronymous was cut down. And the sad thing is, you know, Euronymous didn't have a chance to hold his baby son, baby daughter, watch them grow up. Didn't have a chance to find a girlfriend, to marry the girl. And, you know, yeah. Anyway, back to the lesson. Alright, now another thing they like to do in black metal is they like to play one note, but just kind of play around with that. Now, I know what you're thinking. One note? How is that heavy? How is that black metal? Well, when you combine it with the bass player, and then if you have another rhythm player, another guitar player, then, you know, then you have that extra oomph. So you have this. Now, one more thing that I want to show you about black metal. When we play black metal, most of the time the players like to play a melody, and these melodies often derive from triads. No, not the gang triad. No, guitar licks. Okay. Back to the lesson. So it is these triads that they tend to create their most prolific one-liners that sounds awe-inspiring and just totally wicked. Ugh. Now, I'm not going to give you any specifics. I'm just going to give you a line that I mostly hear in black metal, and it's up to you to kind of give in to your own interpretation. So this would be a minor triad. This is starting from the 7 off the A string, the 9 off the D, and then the 10 off the A. Now if you wanna just do that and then maybe go back a half a step. It's so good. And then, okay, I'll give you one more, because I'm on the 20-minute block now, which means it's going to take forever to download. One more. What they also like to do is they like to use diminished impact. See, going from the 2 to the 3 gives me a diminished feel. And when I use that 2-3, I have that black metal feel. Yeah. Wow, I just remembered I was in a black metal band called Barking Spiders. Oh man, it's been ages since I said that. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoy this lesson, and I hope you learned a lot from it, and I hope you have your own little creativity that will expand on the genre of black metal. And remember, everyone has a right to live. And just remember that. Well, this is Michelangelo. If you want guitar lessons, feel free to give me a call. I'm at 808-382 808-384-7223. That's 808-384-7223. And if you have any suggestions, just write me down here. Maybe a new theme, maybe a new horror movie theme. Yeah, just write me here. Or you can email me at SocratesBestFriend@yahoo.com. That's SOCRATES bestfriend@yahoo.com. This is Michelangelo, and I bid you adieu.